November 26th meeting of the City Utilities Committee. I'm Howard Shook. I'm the vice chair, but we do have a quorum because Mr. Amos is here, Mr. Westmoreland is here, and Mr. Wan is here. The chair is temporarily detained, and I'm sure he will show up momentarily. But we're going to get started. I will move adoption of the agenda. Second by Westmoreland. Let's open that vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. The agenda has been adopted.
All right, you've all carefully read the minutes of the prior meeting. I'll move that we adopt them. Second by Westmoreland. Let's open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. The minutes have been approved.
And do we have anyone signed up for public comment?
No, Mr. Vice Chair.
All right, moving right along then, would you sound our consent agenda?
Yes, Mr. Chair. The sections to our consent agenda, Section F, Communications. Item number 124C 5144, a communication from Council President Doug Shipman appointing Mr. Antoine Lang to serve as a member of the Solid Waste Appeals Board. This appointment is for a term of 4 years.
And he's here, correct?
Yes, Mr. Vice Chair.
All right, come on up then. Thank you for your willingness to serve. Thank you for being here this morning. Please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. Good morning, Mr. Chair, esteemed members of the committee, and to everyone else here. Thank you for the opportunity to serve in this capacity. I am originally from Savannah, Georgia, born and raised, where I served as the youngest elected official on the Board of Elections down there. So I was elected at 24 years old down there and had the pleasure of also serving. I'm also an officer in the United States Army, National Guard, where I serve as an MP. So I'm a certified law enforcement in the DOD. And I also have a firm called Atlantic South Group, where we take on clients to serve, to help with state legislation and things of that nature. And I think I also needed to make sure I know where I lived, right? So I stay in District 6. So I'm a proud resident of District 6 in Buckhead.
All right, let's open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable.
All right, thank you for your overqualifications and your service as well.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Chair.
This takes us to our regular agenda, Section G, ordinance for second reading. Item number 224-0-1630, an ordinance by City Utilities Committee authorizing the Chief Financial Officer to amend the FY 2025 Water and Wastewater Renewal and Extension Fund budget in the amount of $161,438,629.97 to anticipate and appropriate the transfer of equity to the Water and Wastewater Renewal and Extension Fund and for other purposes.
And that's million, I believe. Did you say 100,000?
$161,438,629.97. Excuse me, millions. Excuse me. Sorry.
There you go. All right, and presentation.
Good morning,
Morning.
council members. I am Director Ola Akosa with the Office of Financial Administration for the Department of Watershed Management. The purpose of the legislation is to increase funding for the FY25 Water and Wastewater Renewal and Extension Fund, 5052, in the amount of $161,438,629.97. The city's Department of Watershed Management transfers equity from the Water and Wastewater Revenue Fund 5051 to the Water and Wastewater Revenue Fund 5052 on an annual basis for the purpose of funding project costs and for other capital improvement plans. The capital improvement plan supports various projects, including but not limited to the federal consent decree projects, water and wastewater infrastructure projects, stormwater, annual maintenance, professional services, and regulatory compliance projects. This legislation authorizes the Chief Financial Officer to amend the FY25 Water and Wastewater Renewal Fund, Fund 5052 budget. So this concludes my remarks, sir, and I am happy to address any questions you may have.
Motion to approve by Wan, second by Westmoreland. If there's nothing else, let's open that vote.
Thank you.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. The item is favorable.
All right, thank you.
Item number 3, 24O1631, an ordinance by City Utilities Committee waiving Part 2, Chapter 2, Article 10, Division 4 of the Atlanta City Code to authorize the mayor or his designee to enter into the Sixth Amendment to the agreement listed herein, Green Infrastructure and Landscape Services with ECL/RAC joint venture on behalf of the Department of Public Works, to acknowledge a change in joint venture ownership and to acknowledge that no assignment and assumption is needed for the agreement, to amend the effective date of the first renewal option under the agreement to be a term of 1 year retroactively effective from September 15, 2024 through September 14, 2025, to ratify the services provided under the agreement retroactively effective from September 16, 2024 through the execution of the renewal notice, and to add funds to the agreement in an amount not to exceed $1,500,000.00. All contracted work will be charged to and paid from the fund department organization and account number listed herein and for other purposes.
A motion to approve and a proper second. If there's no questions or comments, let's open that vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable. Mr. Chair, the department requested to take items 4 and 5 together as a block. If there is no objection from the committee.
Proceed.
Item number 4, 24O1667, an ordinance by Councilmember Howard Shook waiving Part 2, Chapter 2, Article 10, Division 4 of the Atlanta City Code to authorize the mayor or his designee to ratify services rendered in connection with agreement listed herein and annual sanitary sewer repair with Ruby Collins SE Consortium, joint venture retroactively effective beginning September 1st, 2024 through the exercise of the first renewal option, to authorize the mayor or his designee to exercise the first renewal option under the agreement on behalf of the Department of Watershed Management for a term of 1 year, retroactively effective from September 1st, 2024 through August 31st, 2025, in the amount not to exceed $8,000,000.00. All contracted work will be charged to and paid from the fund department organization and account number listed herein and for other purposes. Item number 5, 24O1668, an ordinance by Councilmember Howard Shook waiving Part 2, Chapter 2, Article 10, Division 4 of the Atlanta City Code to authorize the mayor or his designee to ratify services rendered in connection with agreement listed herein, annual sanitary sewer repair with Rockdale Pipeline Integral Municipal Services Corporation joint venture retroactively effective beginning September 11th, 2024 through the exercise of the first renewal option, to authorize the mayor or his designee to exercise the first renewal option under the agreement on behalf of the Department of Watershed Management for a term of 1 year, retroactively effective from September 11, 2024 through September 10, 2025, in amount not to exceed $22,000,000.00. All contracted work will be charged to and paid from the fund department organization and account numbers listed herein and for other purposes.
I do have a question, though. I mean, both these vendors have worked for the city for a long time, and they both do critical work. So I'm wondering then why each of the two agreements expired or the renewal was exercised.
Reginald Wells, Assistant Commissioner, Department of Watershed Management. Ultimately, Councilmember Shook, it was just a lot of transition going on in the department. It was an oversight on our part. And to the credit of our current commissioner, he realized we were utilizing these quite a bit, and he wanted us to audit it to ensure that we come before you guys and request what we actually need as opposed to just the previous amount. That's why you'll notice the delta between the two. It really was based on historical spend as well as some anticipated projects that was queued.
I mean, Lord knows, within the last 6 months, we know we have a lot of work to do that 6 months ago maybe weren't as anticipated. Mr. Amos.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Vice Chair. Just a follow-up, and you may not know the answer now. We was told by our procurement department that they would send out a 90-day notice of all expiring contracts to the different departments. Did you get that 90-day notice that these will be expiring or not? You may not know. You can answer later.
Correct, sir. That's a question more so for our Deputy of Administration, Yolanda Broom. But I do know that she does a great job of tracking whether it's initiated by our actual DOP. This here was purely us really auditing what we need ensuring the commissioner that we have more than adequate.
All right, we've got a motion and a second. If there's nothing else, let's open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. These items are favorable. Mr. Vice Chair, can we jump to our held section to take item number 12? This is the companion papers for item numbers 4 and 5.
Item 12, fine.
May I sound the caption?
Please.
Item number 12, 24-01595, an ordinance by City Utilities Committee authorizing the Chief Financial Officer to amend the FY 2025 Water and Wastewater Renewal and Extension Fund budget in an amount of $30 million and 0 cents to transfer funds from watershed reserves for appropriations and add funds to the sanitary sewer repairs project and for other purposes.
We're going to take that with number 6, or number 5, excuse me. Yeah. Motion made and seconded to approve both. If there's nothing else, let's open the vote.
Mr. Vice Chair, just to be clear, we're only voting on item number 12. These are the companion papers for item number 4 and 5 that we just previously voted on. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable.
All right.
This takes us to Section H, Resolutions. Item number 624R4519, a resolution by Councilmember Byron D. Amos authorizing the mayor or his designee on behalf of the City of Atlanta's Keep Atlanta Beautiful Commission to enter into agreements with Hilton and Keep America Beautiful to receive from Keep America Beautiful an amount not to exceed $30,000 and 0 cents for a beautification project along Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, adjacent to the Mosley Park, and for other purposes.
Motion's been made and properly seconded. Let's open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable. Item number 724R4537, a resolution by City Utilities Committee authorizing the reemployment of city retiree Mr. Clifford Ice in the position of Solid Waste Education and Enforcement Officer in the Department of Public Works for an annual compensation of $67,440 and 0 cents pursuant to Section 3-505A of the Charter of the City of Atlanta and for other purposes.
There's a motion made and properly seconded. I do have, well, just 2 comments. One is, thank you, Mr. Ice, for 32 years of service. And the other is, to management, it's been my observation that when an employee has 32 years of service and is close to retiring, it's a pretty good bet he's not going to continue to serve another 32 years. I mean, and this is not just your department. This is my sermon to everyone who does this. I mean, does nobody not see these things coming? But in this particular case, I will welcome any comments.
Good morning, Kanika Greenlee, Department of Public Works. Mr. Ice, as you stated, served with the city in various capacities, Department of Watershed Management. He served with City Council as a City Council aide. He has code enforcement experience. We have some critical positions with our solid waste education and enforcement team that we do need to be filled. As mentioned in our last presentation during the CUC, we are looking to beef up our suite team. We know that he will not work another 32 years. We're well aware of that, but we think his expertise and knowledge working with the city will lend itself for this temporary time.
Well understood, and we do need to beef up that unit. So there's been a motion made and seconded. Let's open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable. Mr. Vice Chair, we have 2 remaining items off held. The first is item number 13 on page 6. May I sound the caption?
Yep.
Item number 13, 24-01596, an ordinance by City Utilities Committee authorizing the Chief Financial Officer to amend the FY 2025 Water and Wastewater Renewal and Extension Fund budget in the amount of blank to transfer funds from watershed reserves for appropriations and add funds to the Custer Avenue Multi-Benefit Capacity Relief Project and for other purposes. Mr. Vice Chair, the department requests to file this item.
Let's open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. This item is filed. Our last item is item number 14. Mr. Vice Chair, this item requires a substitute,
Yeah, please read the substitute caption.
and we have a motion to bring forth the substitute. The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. The substitute is before you. The substitute adds the terms of the agreement, the dollar amount, and the account information, and the DOP legislative summary. Item number 14, 24R 4448, a substitute resolution by City Utilities Committee authorizing the mayor as designated to execute agreement listed herein, Design Build Services Phase 2 with Ruby Collins Benchmark Joint Venture on behalf of the Department of Watershed Management for a term of Phase 2 to commence from the date of notice to proceed is issued for a period of 853 calendar days for substantial completion and 1,000 calendar days from the notice to proceed for the final completion in amount not to exceed $156,519,692.00, subject to and expressly contingent upon the adoption of the fiscal year 2026, 2027, 2028 budgets. All contracted work will be charged to and paid from the fund department organization and account number listed herein and for other purposes.
All right. Wells?
Good morning, Chairman Shook, other committee members. This particular item is a consent decree item, but more important than that, this is a project that's it's caused the department quite a bit of turmoil for quite some time. It ultimately, although it's not captured in the name, most often referred to as People's Town. In particular, this will allow us to construct a 20 million gallon storage tank. It will do a lot of necessary improvements to the linear infrastructure around there to help resolve sanitary sewer spills and a lot of flooding. And again, it does come with a consent decree deadline. It's a tremendous amount of work. And we're happy to be at this point where we're at phase 2 to move forward. That concludes my remarks. If there's any questions, thank you.
Are we on schedule?
We are.
Mr. Wan?
If this is a new procurement, should there not be an IPRO report with this, given the dollar amount?
So it's actually phase procurement because it's design build. It initially went through the IPRO when we procured the first phase. That was completed, I want to say late last year, early this year. That's how the design build procurements work.
So, okay, no, that's helpful to know. So when we do design build phase, I guess I'm a little confused because this is phase 2, but we went out with a separate invitation for bid, right? For this work or no?
No.
Okay.
It's all one. So phase 1 ultimately is the initiation of projects, which ultimately takes care of all of the earlier due diligence, the geotech, the validation, everything to get you to 60% design and a guaranteed maximum price, so you know exactly what your commitment will be. Okay.
There's been a motion made and properly seconded. Ms. Boone has joined us, and the chair has just joined us. All right. Does anyone have any further questions? Let's open the vote.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote? The vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable on substitute. Mr. Chair, that concludes our legislative items for today.
Thank you. Does anyone have any announcements? All right. Have a happy Thanksgiving, everyone. We're adjourned.